We're all under the impression when we see somebody who's a really dynamic or compelling leader, and it's not a coincidence that these people are usually rock star communicators, that we tend to think that they have some kind of magic gift, that the communications fairies came and sprinkled some kind of credibility dust over them and they're amazing and the rest of us mere mortals are not. More and more research that keeps coming out that keeps demonstrating that communication skills are not necessarily an art, but in fact they're a science. And the ability to influence people, convert skeptics, make people want to crawl over glass to follow you, aren't rhetorical tricks. These are skills that can be developed and exercised like muscles. Try to come up with your own brand statement in 15 words or fewer. It's a lot harder than you think. What are the attributes you want to be known for? In fact, one of the things that he talks about a lot is that everything you do, everything you say, everything you write down, everything you do, everything you don't say, don't write down, and don't project are all reflections of your brand. And those are your brand attributes. And so be thinking about them constantly. Steve Jobs, he's another great brand. Some of his brand attributes, modern. He's always dressed like Dr. No in the James Bond movies with his mock turtlenecks. Even down to the 3-day growth. He's iconoclastic. He's arty. Aristotle studied the transaction of communications 2,000 years ago, and he basically divided how you sell an idea into 3 parts the same way, with a buyer, a seller, and a product. And I want to take you through the 3 of these because this is going to be the guts of my talk today. There are 3 parts in a communications transaction: a speaker, his speech, and the audience. Ethos is all about your own personal authority and credibility. It's the guy selling the product. And if you don't like him and you don't trust him, no matter how good the product is, you're often not going to buy it. Now, product is logos, and that's all about product integrity. In the case of the microwave, it can't blow up when you or the crock pot, it can't blow up when you plug it in. The can of beer can't have a syringe in it. The speech can't be filled with lies or factual errors. So you've got to have rock solid content, good substance. And the third piece, and this is the most elusive and difficult part, is the customer. And pathos is the ability to connect with people. It's the ability to not seduce them, which is cheating and sleazy, but to charm them and to forge a connection. Consistency is critical in brands, and people don't do a good enough job. You know what you're getting every time you buy this box of Tide. Your shirts are going to be white, they're not going to turn blue, they're not going to fall apart because some acid ate through them. You know what you're getting every time. Consistency. The genius of saying less of what you leave out is what makes stuff last. I mean, this document's 235 years old. It's the United States Constitution. There are fewer words in this document than there are in the OSHA standard for how to install a banister on a factory floor. The operating instructions for the country are shorter. An adaptable presentation style, a use of anecdotes and metaphors, analogies, and visualization of information. We'll start with adaptable presentation styles. Facts provide information. These are a bunch of facts. I don't understand any of them except the retail price is $116,000. I don't know what torque is. I've heard of horsepower. I think that's a lot. 415. Compression ratios, I don't know much about. This I get. The easiest way to define an adult is the ability to control your impulses. 6-year-olds can't. Adults, theoretically, are supposed to be able to. There's usually a real intersection between leadership skills and communication skills. And the folks who've got both usually are off the charts with wisdom. And by the way, you don't have to be 70 years old to get wisdom. They're 22-year-olds with wisdom. But let's be honest, let's talk about the tyrannically perky. I mean, don't we secretly kind of hate them just a little bit? Aren't they annoying? And isn't there some kind of justice that they face? And the answer is no. In fact, they are judged as more attractive, more intelligent, more competent, more likely to go to heaven. Here's another study. More trustworthy, motivated, serious, decisive, hardworking, and more often recommended for fast-track promotions and generous pay increase. You can't be a good leader and you can't be a compelling communicator unless you have an audience that's willing to follow you and listen to you. The person in the leadership position has to be able to be doing a quid pro quo, has to be delivering things. And it's not just money or titles and salary, but it's delivering vision, it's delivering something that makes you want to follow. A lot of what they talk about in the research in terms of being able to connect with leaders and followers is the ability to read your environment. The moral of my story today is, with aspiration, with credibility, at the end of your career or as you go through your career, you can either leave a legacy or leave a residue. And it's a lot better to leave a legacy. So, thank you.